Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM21 Career Mode, episode 107. We're going to wrap up the Tour de France today. Our goal, our objective, is to keep Karaman in the top 10 that he climbed back into at the end of our last episode. Right now, I'm still measuring the effort necessary. Igashin, I started at a 72. It was way too hard. We had to back off massively to try to get him anywhere near the finish, but he also had a -4 race day condition. Galvez, I started at a 71 and still had to back off pretty massively, but we got him up into 30th. Gonzalez Albiol, I ran at a 69 consistently throughout, and that almost worked perfectly. However, he also had a -3 race day condition, and he started with a very low, his yellow bar was about here, and that extra gap between here and there was not enough. It was not enough. So he faded with 2K to go and lost a minute or two at the finish. Isakov, I'm running a 70 to see how that does with somebody who has more energy to start out, as Ryabovas about to set off. Gosh, I'm wondering if we can get away with a 71 on a rider like him. I think we're going to keep a 70 though, as we're seeing with Narbutas. That seems to be about right. Isakov, he's almost neutral now, and you can see he is passing Barguil, so that's good as we approach. He's only 22nd, but with the -3 race day condition bringing him down to a 73 overall. A 50k time trial. This thing is crazy long. 64 resistance for Isakov, really hurting his performance for the day. You can see as we approach the end, and Stefan Kuhn goes top, and here comes Tiberi, who is behind us. 79 time trial. Dang, where'd that guy come from? So Isakov with 2K to go. You see he's got just that little bit left here. 1.5K, 1K, and now he can push for the line. And he's right down to the end. 28th, our highest finisher so far. Narbutas, looks like that 70 is going to make it. Ryabovas looking like he'll make it. 70 seems to be the way to go. Martin Guerrero, if he had a positive race day condition, I would say we would try the 71 because he's a better time trialist. But the low resistance has me worried. Narbutas, definitely see you can push a little harder at some point. And with 6K to go, I'm going to start that push here for Narbutas. We're going to ride a 72 now. Coming up on the end, now we can push even harder. Final kilometer. And attacking the finish line. 22nd. See how he's fading. I think Ryabovas, half of the time at 70, half at 71. Maybe that's going to be the difference, the key difference there. Martin Guerrero's already actually looking pretty good on that amount of recovery. So we're going to try. We're going to try the 71 further out. This is all testing for Karaman. Definitely want to go 70, I think, through the first sector, but at some point it looks like you can push a little harder for a long period of time. But we've already seen 71 throughout is definitely too hard. But Ryabovas hanging in there right now. 10 riders to go till Karaman comes up. Hopefully his race day condition is not awful. Otherwise his chances of hanging on to the top 10 could very much be in jeopardy. And as a team, we've had really poor draws here on the race day condition, but a lot of that's coming down to it's stage 20. There is fatigue, a lot of it. Ryabovas pushing at that 71, might not quite make it to the end. Let's back off again. We might have gone a little too early on that. In fact, Martin Guerrero, we might want to back off again. Grumman will be setting up soon. 1.4K coming up, finish line. And he is very much at the end. 19th, okay. Yeah, better. Pushing 70, 71 for a longer period of time is good. Grumman about to set off. And he looks neutral, +1. +1, but with the fatigue part, he is very much neutral. The prologue means nothing, so he is neutral. 77 time trial, 72 resistance, no impact climbing either. Okay, back to Martin Guerrero for a little bit. He is pretty dang neutral here. Let's try that 71. And that little bit of an edge. He was 9th at the first time check, 18th at the second time check. Bovis, the benchmark for us at 22nd, but we've gotten a little bit faster with each subsequent rider. 1.5K coming up on the finish line. Full on attack mode here, and Martin Guerrero 23rd, while Van Aert finished just behind him, and Karaman has already covered his gap. That's really good. I think he can ride 71 already, which is fantastic. First time check comes in, and he is 18th, but only 19 seconds behind. And as a top 10 rider, we got to keep an eye on that 18th and see how well that holds up. Evenepoel, just 2 seconds faster. Ghana, Van Aert, Kung, Leknesund, Bloom Levy, the time trialist specialist on top so far. Karaman only 1 spot further back, and quite a few of those top 10 should have already crossed the line, most if not all. Meaning he is second quickest of the top 10 at this point in time, and only 2 seconds off his nearest challenger. So at the second time check, Filippo Ganna and Van Aert are same time. Kung, Leknesund, same guys. Martin Guerrero was 20th there. Where will Karaman fit in at? 24th, exactly 1 minute down on Ghana. How well does that time hold up? Still 24th, now 25th. I'm assuming, not seeing the time here. Nope, there it is. Evenepoel 14th. Evenepoel half minute ahead. So we are definitely not comparing to Evenepoel at this point, but everybody else, time is holding up as we approach the finish, and we have that little bit left in the tank, so we're going to push even harder here. 6.5K to go. Looking like a pretty good time for Karaman based on how hard he's been able to push. 3K to go, push even harder. 73. Slow it down a little. We want to manage this to the best of our ability. 1K, effort up to an 80, 800 meters. 99. 28th, minute 54. Like the rest of the team, we slip back a little more as time goes on, as others were able to push a little harder at the end, saving themselves a little bit too much. There's that slip to 29th, but here comes Gegenhardt. 9th. Okay. Was he the one? I thought it was Evenepoel, but Evenepoel I think already crossed, right? Carapaz, well down. He was already 2 minutes, so we don't have to worry about Carapaz. We'll gain time on him. But how much time do we gain on him? We gain about a minute. Uman, minute 36. We don't pick anything up there. Carapaz, the only one that we might have gained any sort of substantial time on. Bernal, well down. Vlasov, he is well behind. He is roughly same time as Karaman, by the way. Skjelmos, 3 minutes. He loses quite a bit of time. Berlikov, minute 53. Really good time from him. Pogacar, minute 53 for him as well. So almost identical times with the similar guys to us. Van Aert takes the stage ahead of Filippo Ganna and Stefan Kung. And we'll see where our top 10 status is here in just a second. I think we've done what was necessary. Pogacar, Berlikov, Vlasov. We are 11th. Hugh Carthy has bumped us. Carapaz does slip down with his poor time, but we have slipped out of the top 10. Really? By what? A second? Carthy was a minute 22 down. And we were a minute 54. We lost 30 seconds to Hugh Carthy. Very similar rider, but when you add in the 5% bonus, you add in probably some sort of race day condition bonus that he had, you throw those together, and he gained 30 seconds. At best, Karaman had 1 to 2 more seconds in him. He had that tiny bit of red bar right at the end. We did push harder for a while. We saw that we could push even harder, but at most it's a couple seconds. That's it. That's all there was left in the legs of Farhat Karaman. That was at most. So at most he beats Burlikov and Pogacar and maybe matches Vlasov. How far is he off? 6 seconds. Out of the top 10 by 6 seconds. And how many times have we seen this in this series? How many times have we seen a large gap behind us? Hayter, De Plus, these guys are 2 minutes plus down on us. Plus meaning, the guys further back. But we see a 2-minute gap behind us. In front of us, we are a half minute from 9th. We are a minute from 8th. And remember that stage where we lost a minute? Now that stage really matters. We're 2 minutes from Gegenhardt, right? We're literally one position behind is 2 minutes. How many times have we been in that scenario where we are at the tail end of a tight group with a huge gap behind us, but not able to overtake those above us? We've missed the top 10. And like I said, there was 2 seconds in that, maybe 3. So we get those 3 seconds. Makes no difference. We're still off Hugh Carthy. The result of this, though, was Vlasov, Bernal, and Skjelmose slipping from 3rd to 5th as he put in a really poor time trial. If Karaman had a better race day condition, if he had a bonus to that time trial, if he had a bonus to that resistance, we'd still be in the top 10. But he just didn't have it in the legs. The fatigue caught us out. And you know what? In terms of quality, it's where he is. It's where he belongs. It's where we belong. I was just hopeful of more. I was hoping for a top 5. I was aiming for a top 5. Quality-wise, I think we always belonged just inside top 10. But actual quality, just not good enough. And how many of these guys benefited from breakaways? Skjelmose was a breakaway rider on numerous occasions. Vlasov was in breakaways. Was he not? Yes, he was. Skjelmose, Vlasov, Uman, Gegenhardt, regular breakaways. Vingegaard, I think we saw in breakaways. Carthy was definitely a breakaway rider. Most of the top 10 benefited from losing time and then getting in breakaways and then gaining time. We tried those last 2 mountain stages to get Karaman into a breakaway. They wouldn't let us. If these game mechanics weren't so broken this year, that particular mechanic about breakaways, about how no matter how good a rider is, no matter what their position is, that other teams can freely get in the breakaway and your team cannot. Now, quality-wise, this is where Karaman belongs. It's where he should be. But considering that 5 of those top 10, or is it 6? 5 of those top 10 riders were regulars in the break and gained huge chunks of time on multiple stages, we would have been a top 5 rider. But, hey, we're 7.5 minutes down without being a breakaway guy. We lost 3 minutes on one stage. We lost 1 minute on another stage. that was the bulk of our time losses. That's what hurt. That's what hurt us. We weren't good enough on a couple of days. I got to accept that, you know? I know I'm frustrated by that end result, but that's how good Karaman is. And that's also how good Burlikov is. And that's why Burlikov was up there less than a minute off of winning this thing. He is good. He is that good. That extra mountain, that extra resistance that he has, the extra hill rating that he has is the difference. And Karaman, as good of a time trialist as he is, he's still only so. He's still only a 77 time trialer. I don't know how his average is an 82, because literally his only attribute he only has 2 good attributes: 81 mountain, 83 recovery. And neither of those alone are enough to make him a top-notch rider. To me, I look at his profile, and he's a 79 or 80 average at best. But he's a good rider. And I still look forward to having him as our leader in the years to come. But he's no Burlikov, he's no Pogacar, he's no Bernal, he's no Vlasov. He's a Gegenhardt. And Gegenhardt finished above us because of all the breakaways that he gained time on. Because in pure climbs, we beat him again and again. Not every time. But overall, head to head, we beat him comfortably. But those breakaways where he gained massive chunks of time a few times, that's where he beat us. And that's where most of those guys beat us. So, as disappointed as I am in this tour, and of course, you know, that last one, that Giro, I think that's where I've had a real issue with this season. Because last season was beautiful and brilliant and amazing, and then we lost our top guy. We couldn't keep him. We couldn't afford him. He's making more money than our entire team makes. And so then we went into this season with lowered expectations, and then we were finding success. We were still getting wins. We were still going, oh yeah, we're pretty good. And then the Giro was going really well. We weren't leading. We weren't going to defend the way we did with Burlikov, but it was going so well. And then late, you know, we had that total collapse, and that's been the turning point in our season, because it hasn't gone well since then. And I think I raised my expectations when things were going well, and they're just, you know, we're only so good. We are only so good. All right, you know what? We still have the Champs-Élysées. Let's finish this race up. Another factor that I honestly have not given enough credit to is the fatigue in the legs of so many of these riders. Karaman, Igashin, Gonzalez Albiol, and Isakov are all at high levels of fatigue right now. And you don't always see it. You don't always see it in the race day condition draw. You'll often see it there, but not always. And sometimes it just shows up. But look, Riabovis, his fitness has dropped, so he's facing fatigue too. Karaman, who had a 99% fitness level, it's down to 82 here in the final stage. Igashin, he's all the way down to 79, and he is getting that subsequent really bad draw. His last 4 or 5 stages have all been terrible draws. Galvez is hanging on, but you can see he's starting to get fatigued. He's down to a 95. Martin Guerrero mostly hanging in there, but he's down to an 89. Narbutas, 88. I need to get water one last time. Gonzalez Albiol, go ahead. He's down to 83, and Isakov is down to 86. The entire team is quite fatigued. Martin Guerrero, Galvez, really the only ones that are hanging in there. Krammen,
That's the end of the breakaway. The pack gave them no chance.
He's lucky.
The riders have upped the pace.
He's got a +1, but it's a break even because of the fitness level. So I have to keep in mind that we are a mid-level Continental Pro team that punches way above our weight on a regular basis, which is why, as a mid-level Continental Pro team, we are getting invited to the Tour de France, to the Giro. But we're not the best Continental Pro team, and we are nowhere near a World Tour team. Now, next season, I really hope we can break into the World Tour, get that consistent schedule, get that better set of races, and get some results and continue to grow. And our finances are getting a little better. 15K to go, by the way. Our finances are getting better, and that is what it is. And if I'm going to do something here, I know where it happens. So let's do something. Wouldn't it be amazing if we split the Peloton? All right, we have my flat guys. Riabovis has a 70 today. Karaman, of course, is going to be at the back. I think Galvez is his lead out man. Yeah, that's a 70. Might not actually be, because Riabovis has well, who's got the sprint? Does anybody have sprint? Galvez a little bit. So yes, Galvez is still the guy. But Riabovis, other than that, is the other man. And then we'll look at race day condition for the others, because that's who's going to last longer. Gel up on these first two, and let's start pushing 99 right off the bat. These guys are weak, but we got to get out front and set the tone. There's one little sneaky spot that you can make something happen. And we have, in the past, turned that in. Why, Gonzalez Albiol? Why are you struggling here? Let's get you behind Narbutas in the line. 9.7K already, and you guys are hurting this bad, huh?
The riders are closing on the last 8 kilometers of the stage, which will most likely end up in a mass sprint.
Switch the order here. And use your gel. Alright. It is just about time to make that move. And here's where that move's got to come. We're just not fast enough. This has worked. This worked last year, where I won the Champs-Élysées by surprise. 5K to go.
We're into the last 5 kilometers. Things are hotting up at the front.
Gel up for the rest. It's 4 riders. Guerrero, Van Aert, Seneschal, Sagan trying to push clear. Trying to break toe, get a gap behind us of everyone so we have a chance. Okay, this is sprint territory. Bovis coming out of the corner here, and wow, look at those guys really going for it. They are much faster than we are. Galvez a little bit quicker though. Nice, he gained some ground there, but look how he's leaving Karaman behind. Karaman just can't keep up the pace. 900 meters. Van Aert, Groves, Gourmet, but Pedersen comes flying at the right time. He's gonna take over Van Aert, who celebrates too early. Karaman is gonna get 4th at the Champs-Élysées. 4th on the final stage. He almost gained seconds on that final stage. Almost. Van Aert and Groves were fading. Karaman coming on strong. Pedersen comes on strong. And we timed that better than literally everybody, with the exception of Mads Pedersen and nearly did something to get ourselves into the top 10. Not to be Karaman, the non-sprinter, sniffs. He had, 2 top 5s in recent sprints. 4th place, no time gaps. Finishes 11th. In terms of the other things going on here, Marte takes the points classification. 84 sprint. Okay. Pedersen was 3rd. That is surprising. That is very surprising. Caleb Ewan was all the way down in 15th. KOM, Karaman just 17 points. We never really properly got into that one, though we were interested in it. That's what I came for here. I knew that GC was not going to be the thing. I was thinking about stages at KOM early on and having Karaman just kind of go for it. And then the other options fell apart so early, and Karaman was in it. So it was like, okay, we're going to now switch and commit to Karaman, and then that didn't happen, which is what I thought in the first place. I don't know why I ever kind of changed that up, where all of our options just failed to materialize. And of course, I mean, I did try to do Karaman in the break and have that be something. And we did try to do something on a couple of stages, and in one of them it did work. We did leave a bunch of riders behind and gain time over quite a few guys. So we had one big success in this tour, and that was it. We do get 2nd in the under 25s, 5th, 7th, 11th, 13th. I mean, we're all over the youth rankings. Del Rue, Bokanoge are so strong. They were 18 minutes down. And then, Berlikov. As a team, we were 7th. All things considered, as strong as weak as we are, that's not bad. Jumbo Visma was 11th. Oh my goodness. Talk about OP in real life. Holy cow, those guys are just tearing it up this season. Well, anyway. Not a great result. Not a great result. But to be honest with you, it's probably right where we belonged. And, we just got to accept it and move on. There's still the rest of this season to go, which of course there's not much without the Vuelta and not too many World Tour races the rest of the way. So we will be making our way through. But we're going to head into that August signing period here soon. And it's a big one. Because if one or two... We have 2 good riders. Our 3rd, Isakov, has an expiring contract. If we can get him re-signed, or we do have an option that is better than him and significantly younger. If we can get one of those 2 guys signed, we've got a legitimate shot of making World Tour for next season and finally breaking that mold and getting into that highest level. That would change things. That puts us there, race in, race out. Looking at the rankings right now, individually, we're not there. But Bernotas, who doesn't get too many rides with me, has done well at the Continental level. Super Prestige, we're not there this year. Berlikov is, though. He's 6th. But as a team, we've done okay. Bahrain victorious, as in Continental Pro, Bahrain victorious, and us are the only ones mixing it up with the World Tour teams. And in the Continental, even though I've literally done 2 Continental races firsthand, the AIs handled the rest of it, we're still 4th in the Continental rankings. And in the Super Prestige, again, Bahrain victorious and us are the only ones mixing it up. This is not like last season. This is not the dominating performance where I was 7th, 6th as a team, 9th. We're down in 14th this year. But that's mostly because we do not have Berlikov anymore. This was a step back this year. But it was also a step forward to get to the World Tour, right? We were so close a year ago, but we just could not retain Berlikov. finances have improved. They're going to continue to improve for next year. We have the full sponsor confidence. Look at the jump we're going to see. Look at the jump we're going to see. We're going to go up quite a bit. 179,000 for next year. We're going to add 30K to our current budget. And we did that this last year. That's going to be 60K higher than it was a year ago. That's what you need to afford the salary of a quality rider. You need 180K. You need to turn that into 230 the next year. That's what's going to get us there and keep us there. That's still a tiny budget. I mean, again, Berlikov, what's he making? Berlikov's making 161,000. Even with this budget that we're on right now, 150K, he is still making more than our entire budget. Pogacar, right there at 150K. Bernal, 155K. We can't afford those guys. Even Skjelmos is making 45,000. That, though, that's our type of territory. As the budget gets bigger, you can afford a couple superstars. You could afford a couple borderline superstars. And if we had Skjelmos and Carapaz, or if we had Hershey and Gegenhardt added to the roster, you put together a group of those guys that can feed off of each other and support each other. That's a team that can win something. Remember how we faded at the end of this tour because we were so fatigued? Imagine having 2 leaders and being able to divide up the races and not have the same guy have to race again and again and do 42 ridiculously hard stages with limited support, trying to battle it out against riders that are better than you and bury yourself day after day. Yeah, he's gone too deep. Well, anyway, I think that's a good look at things. And for me, I feel a little bit better. I do feel a little bit better. I let the frustration get to me. It's been a frustrating spring in general. I think for me, that first year of COVID, I was pretty okay. I was pretty content. I got through it. It's year 2 that's taken the toll on me. It's March now. It's been 2 years. And I think I need to take a nice deep breath and relax a little bit. Get back to a happy place. And letting this go would help. It would help. It does impact my personal morale. How I'm feeling. That's going to do it for this episode and this race. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Endure. Bye for now.